start is to take you through the creative process. Because it is a process that you will go through 2 or 3 times a day, maybe. It may take you a month to go through all of it, but every day and for years to come, you will still feel like this, so just embrace it. It's gonna be, this is awesome. What you're doing is awesome, right? Right. Uh-oh, this is tricky. This is shit. This is shit. I don't like this, it's shit. I am shit. I suck at what I do. This is, why am I doing this? This is, I am shit. All right, maybe I got it. It's gonna come out okay. You'll be all right in the end. I got it, it's okay. And then this is awesome. I love what I do. So being creative people, we're all sensitive and go through a lot of things just so that you guys are all aware of what you might go through on a daily basis.
That was good.
That was a good one.
Give it up for those faces.
Nice opening.
All right, Celeste Perfect is our what line?
Color line.
What kind of color is it?
Permanent.
Permanent hair color. All right. And it is set up and uses numbers to classify all of these colors. So we do, all right. So you guys all know what number goes in this spot?
Level.
The level, right?
The level.
Our levels are like 1 through 10. And well, really 2 through 10.
Yeah.
And this one right here is what? And what if we have 2?
Another tone.
Then the first one's stronger.
The first one is the dominant tone. All right, so I have heard a couple of schools of thought on this, where this is 2 parts to 1 part if you're going to create it. I've also heard it's 3 parts to 1 part. Personally, I have always done it 2 to 1 because that's how, so I predict it better that way. That's how I've done it for years. So if I have 2 numbers over here.
Great coverage.
Okay. Extra strong, extra pigment. There's a lot more like dye in that too. Have you guys memorized the tones yet?
Yeah.
Close,
Just to get an idea of where we need to go?
Let's do it, let's do it. Quiz us.
All right. Stroke 8.
What, 8?
Blue,
Blue.
pearl,
Whatever. Blue, pearl, I'll take both.
Blue,
What if we go with a 6?
violet,
All right. What if we go with a 9?
Sandra,
Sandra.
soft violet.
Soft violet. All right. Really cool way to remember this. All right. The circle is down here. You got a heavy dye load of violet. The circle is up here. That's your little like molecule pigment. It's a light load of violet. It's just a light. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sandra.
I love that
It's a
word.
good
Can you
baby
guys see
name.
with a mirror?
Mhm.
Very good.
This is my son Sandra.
This
Wait,
is my
love
son
it.
Sandra.
Naming my child
Stroke
Sandra.
2.
Green.
Matte.
Oh
Matte.
yeah, you're right. Actually,
Matte green.
But-
I will take both.
Same. We did it together.
What about 5?
red violet.
It's just red.
Yeah, like red.
Oh, I
Red.
thought it was red violet.
Because 4 is red.
Oh.
All right, you two stop answering.
Yeah, just one.
All right. What about 3?
Gold.
All right, now when you think of gold, what color do you think of?
Yellow.
Yellow. But it's not just yellow, right?
It's yellow and orange, right?
Gold is supported with a little bit of red, which kind of makes it a little bit more golden. It's not like you're going to have to mix a 3-4 to get gold, because gold is gold, but it is supported by a red pigment. Okay. So Celeste Perfect uses a tri-luxative technology. And when I misspell, just ignore it. So 3 things, it contains shines and the waxes, lipids and waxes in there, which create the shine and the precursors and couplers that come together. That's basically the stuff in the tube and the stuff in the bottle mixing together and connecting inside the hair shaft. All right, going over the neutrals, you've got, just for the sake, I'm going to use a 5. This is everyone's big argument, and I swear you're going to get so many different opinions. I'm just going to give you mine from what I've learned, okay? Use it however you want. Just the plain stroke is kind of like a pure. You're going to use this when you're doing fine hair, okay, for gray coverage.
Why?
Because it doesn't need all of these heavy, it's finer, and it's going to absorb that color. It doesn't need all this extra color. If you put a 5-5 stroke 0 on fine hair, you might even end up with something that looks like a level 4. Because you're putting a whole lot of extra stuff on there. This is probably the #1 most misused color in our color line, are those double neutrals. These are for coarse, hard to color hair. And just because it's all white or all gray does not necessarily mean that it's coarse and hard to cover. Okay? And then this is for your average. What volume is going to give you, yes?
Is there a tonality difference between them? Like the stroke no number cooler, stroke 0 warmer?
Yes.
Not noticeably so? Like kind of just like don't think that? Or
I don't find that it's noticeably so.
Okay.
So, but you do have, this is a more natural, pure neutral. So in that case, it's usually a little cooler,
okay.
but you are using it for gray coverage, so it's not going to be like an ash when you put it on someone's head. So so this is what goes through your head when you're thinking about when you're doing hair color. So the F is first, so this is your formulation. What do you think about when you're formulating?
What's on their hair? What's their virgin level?
Canvas, yeah,
Natural
gold.
level, contributing pigment.
Yeah.
How much hair they have, how little hair they have, how big their root is,
Damage.
Texture,
percentage.
of gray, perfect.
A lot.
Okay. And then you have application, saturation, basically what that application is you probably need to use a little bit more color than you think, especially if you're covering gray. Starting point. I feel like this is really important because your hairline has all these little baby hairs. They grow pretty quick. So it's usually not going to be the first place to put color on. You want to consider the texture of the hair for your application on where you're putting it. This one was a bit of an eye-opening experience for me because what you learn in school, parted off in 4 sections, do this side, do this side, do the back. It's not necessarily the case. You want to customize it for your client's hair texture. Now I tend to start in the back now and then work to the front just because the texture in the hairline, but that doesn't necessarily mean ear to ear. It can be 2 or 3 inches behind here and back. And then your timing. What is an average time when a single process color process?
35.
The processing time? I thought it was 45, and then when I came here, everybody was really doing 25, 35. All tracing. Yeah, so.
Okay.
3 hours later.
Personal opinion, 35 minutes is the least amount that you want to do with a permanent hair color, with our Celestin Perfect Permanent can go all the way up to 45. If you are going blonder, redder, covering hard to cover hair, or coarse, add 5 minutes. Take it up to that 15-minute mark if any of those 4 factors are in play. Because it's really important. This is like, a retouch isn't just a retouch on using someone's formula. It's the formula, their hair. How come I didn't write that? I said it. And then you actually applying it, your application equals the result. It's not just slapping color on. It really is more than that. You have to saturate, no overlapping. Like a retouch isn't,
Yeah.
It takes about.
I don't think you should think of it as anyone can do a retouch. They come out different.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on Celestin Perfect?
Wait, I actually did have a question. You know the triluxive thing that you're talking about?
The triluxive is the technology that makes Celestin Perfect work.
Okay.
It's what's in the tube
Okay.
when you mix it,
Okay.
and that is the shine of the color. It's a hard one to get off.
Yeah.
The lipids and waxes, because there is conditioning factors in the color, and the way the precursors and the couplers come together inside the hair.
What are the conditioning elements in Wella color?
Lipids and waxes.
Just
I wrote it down. Lipids and waxes.
okay. Well, it's just
Oils and waxes.
beeswax. Like I don't know if it was something really specific.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
No.
Okay.
They didn't
You know what I mean?
All right. Developers. 10 volume. What is 10 volume used for?
Deposit.
Okay. 20.
Great
coverage. Great coverage. How many levels of lift do you get with 20?
2.
No.
One.
1.
I didn't even know.
1 to 2.
Oh yeah, 10.
1. That's fine. 1 level of lift with 20. It's like the best for gray coverage.
Just to
30 volume
wait.
is your 2 levels of lift.
1 level of lift on virgin hair? Or
Well, can you lift color with color?
no, but I just wanted to like double check because I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
know.
1 level of lift.
Okay.
So how does it work for gray coverage if it only lifts 1 level?
Because you need the power to open up the cuticle to go in to give maximum gray coverage.
Okay.
If you use a 30 volume to do gray coverage, you're going to disperse
too
the
much.
pigments too much. It'll be lighter.
Okay.
So 30 is just for
And
two
then 10
levels.
volume may not give you enough of opening your cuticle to get the job done.
Makes sense.
So 10 doesn't open it enough, 30 opens it too much. 20 is...
20's just
Just
right.
And so 30 volume gives you your 2 levels of lift. 40 volume, how many levels of lift?
4.
3.
3 to 4. Perfect. Now, pastel
Oh, yes.
Cuts the ammonia.
Pastels for levels 8 and 9.
is designed to use on levels 9 and 10. It removes 70% of the ammonia.
Turning it into a demi, right? Sort of?
Wait, you said 70%?
It removes 70% of the ammonia. A demi-permanent hair color
Has no ammonia.
usually doesn't use ammonia, so it's still going to be a little stronger than a demi. And it processes for 15 minutes. So with that being a thought, what would pastel be best used for?
Toning.
Yeah.
Toning.
We were taught in a class that pastel is literally 1.9. It's the same thing. Like if someone were to ask what the volume was, the teacher said
The
it was-
volumes is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one time I said, okay, if I'm out of 1.9, can I use pastel?
Yes.
Same way, and they said, yeah, you
Yes.
can.
So what if we're out of pastel and it was the opposite? Because you use 1.9 with the levels 9 and 10.
Technically, yes.
But like only if you like really, really, really had to.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
It still just makes me nervous. I want to use what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be using.
So
I would do that with lightener. Like if I need, I could mix it with the lightener.
So if you wanted to tone like an 8, or even do a low light and do like 7, level 7, could you do pastel? 1 to 2 with pastel?
You could use it, but it's only going to remove 70% of that, and it's not really designed to use in levels below. Below. I mean, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not designed to do it.
Does
that way.
the question, does it preserve, okay, so you do a color touch glaze or tone on someone, it's gonna add the shine and the luster, you know? Is it gonna still have that effect if you use pastel with a KP?
Not the same.
Okay, so not as like shiny
Right.
okay.
Right. Okay. Any questions on developers?
Yeah, like if someone came in with virgin hair like my color, like a level 3 or 4, and they wanted to be like a level 6 or 7, because I've never seen anybody use like more than 20 developer in the salon, like on like retouches and stuff. So you would have to use a higher developer.
So this is like your best tool ever. So if someone comes in with your hair color, you find where they're at, find where they want to go. You've got your target shade over here. Oh, I have to get from a level 4 to a level 7. That's 3 levels of lift. Oh, I better go with a 40 volume.
Mm-hmm.
This is like your best friend.
Oh, I actually have a question too. So this is probably really dumb to ask, but once again, I just want to make sure.
No, that's all right.
So, you know how like when you use a higher developer with lightener, it makes it work faster and like gets it brighter?
Okay,
And-
we're still on Celeste and Perfect. Can you jot that down and hold it till we get to lightning?
No, I know where she's going.
Yeah,
Wait.
if you use 40 volume with KP, is it the same? Like, would it be easier to like damage their hair more with 40 volume rather than 20? Like if you were trying to lift but with color, like if you were lifting virgin hair with color.
Yeah, you're still using a 40 volume.
So it's still gonna be more
You
damaging.
still want to consider their texture and the porosity of their hair. You still need to consider in all those factors for your formulation.
Okay.
If you're using a higher developer, do you have to let it process longer? In order for everything to like lift,
I was gonna
open,
say.
deposit, and then like close again?
If you're going blonder or redder, extra 5 minutes.
Okay, so that could.
This timing is
okay,
still
I got
the
it.
same for all the colors, but you take into consideration your formulation and all that stuff that we talked about. Should have lifted up.
Got it.
Or the special blondes. They are always mixed 1 to 2, meant to use with 30 or 40 volume. Their timing is a lot different because you're going blonder. You want to leave that on to 15 minutes to an hour in most cases.
Wait,
The 12 levels is what we're talking about?
Especially if you're doing like kind of all over. When I use them for a touch-up with the heat zone, I do 40, 45, and that tends to work pretty good.
We're talking about the 12 levels?
Yes.
And for retouching, like roots?
Yeah, or even foils. They need that
The only time
time.
I've ever messed with
50
them
minutes.
is foils.
50
And I've only ever really seen people
Yes.
do foils. So,
So their processing time is a little bit longer.
yeah. I always wondered when I do foils, it's like, okay, 30 minutes goes by. Is it the same thing as regular color, whereas like it stops after 35, 45 minutes, or does it keep going? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Keeps
one-
going. The
Okay.
high lift ones, they'll
So
keep going.
35 minutes, I still think it's not what I like. I should leave it on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
you said
technically-
1 to 2 ratio?
1 to 2 ratio. Oh, yes.
How many levels are you guaranteed with 12 series?
Ooh. 4, possibly 5, depends on the texture of your hair and your saturation and application.
And then, okay, so say you're going from like a 7, you want to get her, you know, to the nice, you know, are you considering the underlying pigment when choosing your tonalities of your 12 series?
Yes, you should.
Okay, so
Yes.
those to lift you
Because they're
to,
really not, you're still going to have a lot of warmth if you're starting from
right.
a lower level.
Mhm.
There's going to be a lot of underlying warmth.
So like a 12, 8, 9, something that's going to cool that down
Mhm.
in the middle. Okay.
It's never gonna get.
Or 1, 1, 12, 1, 1.
Do you know they're gonna pull really red, like
No.
12-2-2?
No,
Yeah,
if I
the
put,
greens.
if I did that instead of bleach on my hair, it's not gonna give me this tone.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Okay. I think we've colored Celestin perfect. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Innocence. Or Color Touch. Let's stay with the permanents,
Yeah,
right?
stay with purple.
Okay.
I agree.
Wait, how do you spell
I,
I wouldn't know either.
S?
Okay, so
see?
Innocence
No,
is,
S.
well as future color.
No, I think it's like
Just S,
It's like the future technology in color. It is a permanent hair color. It does have ammonia. It is mixed 1-to-1. Pretty much your same rules apply. With Innocence though, you're only going to ever get 3 levels of lift. There's nearly no way to get that 4th level that you can sometimes get with Celestin Perfect. Like it's 3 levels max. Okay. The cool thing about Innocence is the color molecule.
oh yes. Tell me
Me+. Have you guys heard anybody in the salon talking about the Me+ molecule?
Yeah, you told me about it. And I have written
I'm
down.
very excited about this color molecule.
Boom.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Just in place of ammonia.
now I never remember which one Wella doesn't use, but these are the 2 you think I would remember, right?
Yeah,
They don't
the
use
other
one
ones.
of them, they use the other in the thing. But these are the color molecules right now. And people can become allergic or have allergies to these because you got these little T receptors, right, inside. So when something comes in that's not supposed to be there, it's, no! Oh my God!
So
It's freaking out your whole system, right? So the color molecule like sits right in there and it's like, oh, it doesn't belong in me. And that's when you have that allergic reaction to color. Now, clearly, you can still be allergic to a color that uses the Me+ molecule, but you will not be allergic to the dye molecule. You will be allergic to fragrance or something else in that tube, but not the dye molecule. Okay? I do want to make that really clear because I don't want you to think someone's never going to have a reaction. It's just like with shampoos and this and that. Normally, people are allergic to the fragrance. There's something in that. So the Me+ molecule is just kind of shaped a little different so that when it comes in, it can't rest in that little T receptor. So it just bounces off and goes on its way, and your body does not freak out. Is the way that works.
Oh. But it does have ammonia.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is a permanent hair color
with ammonia.
with ammonia.
So Me+ is not like an MEA, which is like an ammonia substitute?
No,
Oh, it's so
Me+
confusing. They're so close
is a
together.
dye molecule.
Okay.
It is a color molecule.
Okay.
Illumina uses microlight technology. This is one of my favorite hair colors. It's a permanent hair color. Same rules apply as KP and stuff. You have a rosé violet base to every color. You are able to see the highs and lows. So it's not like a flat coverage. it's gonna create a lot of shine. I feel like it's great for toning.
I assume with pastel.
Pastel or,
Correct.
Or you could make
Like we
it
did that mix.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
With,
oh right.
and in
Mhm.
that case, it would be
Service
1 to
and
2, if you're doing that, right? Or if you're using pastel?
Yes.
Tony?
There's also other
So
lip balm.
using alumina, is that what we're talking about? Yeah, alumina with pastel will give you the shine, kind of like a
Yeah,
color
'cause
touch.
Because it'll be that high and low, but
Okay.
it's a permanent hair color.
Okay. Okay.
When you need something that's going to be a little bit stronger than just color touch and you
Mhm.
want it to stay, because color touch is a demi.
Cool.
You can say that again.
When you need, or the hair is, can it take it, a little bit more tone, it is more of a permanent hair color. So it goes in there, locks together, stays in the hair, because it's a permanent hair color. Color touch is a demi. Some on the outside, some on the inside. It eventually fades away.
Like, Asians love that kind
No, that's okay.
Wait, when you say the highs and lows, what exactly does that mean? Like,
It reflects light with the
okay.
micro technology, so it looks like some pieces are lighter, some are darker. It just has this really cool shine effect to it.
okay.
It also helps the hair get younger and healthier. The way that it works there is you have all of these minerals everywhere, right? They're just everywhere, okay? Copper is one that they have found that tends to damage the hair. Alumina protects the hair from that copper coming in and damaging it during the process.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's impossible to get away from every, trace mineral and stuff that we have, and copper is one that does damage on the hair. So, not that it obviously, we've been doing hair color for a long time, it's not huge, but just, it helps keep the hair healthier, more shiny, as it protects it from that copper coming in and messing with it.
Cute.
There's something in the, whatever product.
Micro technology. Micro light.
Is alumina little like? Is it for like people with sensitive, or is that innocence?
That's innocence.
I know it was an eye.
Okay, tell me about that Me plus molecule, Nikki.
Huh?
Tell me about that Me plus molecule.
You just told me this and I
I just
forgot.
had a whole freak out of here, made a total idiot out of myself.
Triangle.
No, you it's newer. It's a newer thing in
Yeah.
Wella.
Right.
Um,
It's the dye molecule that tricks your T receptors so it doesn't trigger the T receptors. It's made in a different shape.
yes, that's what you said.
Still a permanent hair color, all the rules apply. It's
Well, 'cause
just
I was
they
like, why are you
changed it
telling
from
us
that
this?
PPD and the PPT that people are becoming really sensitive to.
Yes.
Yes, sensitive.
Yes.
So, how, you know how sometimes when people drag permanent color to your end, it kind of builds up, and it gets darker and darker? Does that do that with that color too? Like, is that highly recommended for like all the time?
With alumina? Yeah, but, like when I comb through, at the very end, I usually do like the last 5-10 minutes. By that time, enough of the ammonia has dissipated, so the color itself has already become more of a demi-permanent color.
Hmm.
So it's just working on its last kind of thing. That's why you smell ammonia, is it's disappearing into the air. It's like actually going away. It turns into a gas. It's working, like it's leaving.
So it's recommended just for like 10 to 15 minutes at the end, that's it.
What are the last 5?
Yeah, unless you're mixing up separate with that pastel developer, doing the 1 to 2, using that as a toner.
So why is it that not a lot of people use aluminum? I like never see
I
anybody
cannot
using
tell you.
I think
Why?
it's all location. it's not all.
I feel like
all
it's a
location.
Everybody
comfort
makes their
zone.
own decisions on stuff that they do. I'm just offering you information on how this works, the products work.
Because I'd love to use
I-
it, but we have like
That
5
was
tubes.
so well
We-
said.
we're gonna
We gave
Run
everything
for
a
office.
chance, but then we saw
It's like so
what was getting
diplomatic the way
used
she said
most.
that.
So Tracy
Yeah.
or whoever, whatever,
Everybody just got comfortable with it.
stopped ordering
Right.
what we didn't use. And if you want it, she'll order it. But
Because like there's always times where I'm like I should try it, but then we have like one tube, so then I'm like,
Yeah.
what if she comes back and we
I
don't have
think
it?
it
We
would
don't
be
know.
cool, especially for like base breaks, alumina, you know, and like, yeah, I've used it for toning before. I
Okay,
like it.
back on track.
Sorry.
We're gonna move on to color touch. All right. Oh, yeah, this is a cool one. Because we have like 1, 2, 4 things in color touch. No, just 3. No, 4. Okay, color touch line is color touch plus, relights, and instamatics.
Okay, wait. So, the way I'm writing my notes, I just don't want it to get
So this is our
disorganized.
demi. That's why I tried to keep the permanents together, and now I'm going over
Now
the
we're
demi
into
color
demis.
touch.
So I can make like all of those color lines for headers for this.
Yeah.
But I'll start with the regular color touch, which is ammonia free. You mix it 1 to 2. The processing time is 20 minutes, the normal processing time that it takes
For roots or what?
for the color touch,
To work.
kind of whatever you're doing. It's a processing time of 20 minutes.
Huh.
You can go longer, I'm just saying, this is manufacturer's directions, okay? Like, you can play outside of there with timing. I'll even go 30 minutes if I'm doing certain things with it. But 20 minutes is really manufacturer's, okay? It goes on damp hair. Now, when I'm talking damp, I don't mean that there's water dripping from the ends. It's towel dried hair. Like, you can touch it and your hand does not get wet. It really should just be damp.
Does it have to be damp?
No, it does not. On
Just
dry hair,
wondering.
you're just going to get a much deeper result.
Okay.
Now, it does use an MEA. And the reason that they have you use 1 to 2 is to disperse that MEA evenly so that it's so the chemistry of the color works. MEA is your similar to ammonia. It's kind of what helps, the color actually work. It's a bigger molecule. It's really slow. It stays in its liquid form and does not disappear. Like, so it's in there. That's an alkalizer that's going to stay in the color till you wash it away.
So potentially, will it get darker if I leave it on longer?
Mm-hmm.
More than
Based
likely.
on that chemistry behind it?
Probably.
Mackenzie, there's an answer that you
I don't mean
But-
as like a tool, I just.
No, not really.
Yes, Patrick.
Is- I mean, it's not necessarily like less damaging than ammonia.
Correct.
They're kind of the same. They're just different.
Correct.
Didn't you say it could be more damaging since it doesn't like if it gets left on? Or was that
I
something
feel
else?
like you still can create damage using the MEA if it's not used properly because it doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger, it's slower. I mean, but it's still damaging to the hair, which is why they do this 1 to 2 ratio to keep that. Because the MEA is in the color tube, not the peroxide,
Yeah.
not the 4% or the 1.9. That MEA is in the tube. They pay people big bucks to go into a chemistry lab and figure out how all this stuff works. Okay, Color Touch Plus. It does have ammonia. It does not give a percentage. They say it's just enough to get the job done.
That's
Because
what
you
those
need a
guys
little
do.
bit
That's
more.
what I've
It's
been
like their
paid for.
gray coverage line or gray blending line. That's why all of them are like a 0.7 or a 0.3 or a 0.5 and double pigmented. Yes.
When would you elect to use Color Touch Plus over just like a permanent hair color? It seems like kind of redundant.
You could answer that.
Wait, what?
Because I assume it's for gray coverage, right? Color Touch Plus? What is it?
Okay, so you have a client that's decided, I don't want to color my hair anymore. What's a way I can transition out of this?
Okay.
Color Touch Plus. Great way to do it.
Why?
You want to do like a root shade, a root,
Like shadow root? Yeah.
So does it have a demarcation?
little bit of the, no, yeah, just kind of gradually fades away.
So I mean,
You
why
can-
is that different than color touch?
I wish, do we have another one of these?
Valid question.
Color Touch does not have
Ammonia.
the ammonia. You
Yeah.
can still use Color Touch. They just gave you another tool. It's not really
Okay.
widely used in the salons. I'm just
Yeah.
giving you the information on it.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with color.
I've played around with it a little bit for one of my clients who, she comes in every two months, 8 to 10 weeks. And really she is there for an experience. So I go in and I've created like 2 formulas and streak it through, but I'm not gonna see her for another 8 to 10 weeks. So I'm not gonna leave her with this little thing. I was gonna show you, because you can kind of use it as a tool with a client with 2 and hold it straight up there and tell her, you're like, this is more of like mix it in. Like permanent hair color, you set straight up like this. Demi, you can kind of mute in through there so they have a visual of what it'll look like as it fades out. You know, when you see that line, will it be muted? You know, by shoving hairs in.
Oh.
Oh, you mean with the swatch. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Shoving there.
you know, depending on how
Okay,
gray
I'm
they
not thinking
are,
about
you
that.
can, you know, like hold it up to there, like that'll be the line of demarcation, and or
Mhm.
shove it inside and they can see it diffused.
That's really a good tool.
Yeah, these are awesome guys.
They're inside all
I
those big
I've
books.
never used it that way.
Okay.
Please don't share that with anyone.
I'm freaking out. I found my pocket.
No.
You
My
can
dog
maybe
ate
low
mine.
light with the Color Touch Plus. You get that little deeper pigment.
Oh,
Uh,
I hate when I think of something after.
will it last a little bit longer, the Color Touch Plus?
Well, what?
So if I was going to do a low light with the Color Touch Plus as opposed to a low light with just a regular Color Touch?
Oh, yeah.
It is going to give like a little bit more longevity?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good point. Aubrey, add that to our notes.
Wow.
I have already used.
Okay. Instamatics.
Oh, yes,
I'm
please.
saving my favorite for last. Okay, so Instamatics basically is like a 10 to 20 minute service. It says it washes out in 14 shampoos. I'm sure your experience is much fewer than that.
Wait, how long does
How
that
many
does
does
it
it
say?
Yeah, the Instamatic.
They're like dusty colors though, right?
Right. They're very pastel.
Yeah.
So they disappear very fast. I'm even thinking it would just be more fun as a toner
Yeah.
over something just to get you through till a next appointment kind of thing. Like when you're working on something corrective, it would be an awesome little, let me just throw this on real quick to give you a little bit, and then when you come back, it'll be gone and we can work from there kind of thing. And then how long you leave it on is how rich you want the color.
Is it direct?
No, you
Oh.
mix that. It's in the Color Touch line. I'm not going over those because I haven't been schooled on
Oh, the creates.
the creates.
They don't last very long.
But you use developer for that?
For Instamatic.
Instamatic is your like jade mint or something.
It's
Is that what I used the
There's
other
a
day?
mauve
Dusty
one.
rose.
Is that what you used the other day?
No, those were
No, you
Turcos.
used the new
No,
one.
no, the teal, the green, the.
No, that's
No,
create.
that's the create.
That's
Yeah.
create. Those are just
Okay.
The
direct.
fantasy
Yeah.
like fashion colors
Oh,
are
I think I
create.
know that pastel.
That's
yeah,
these down here.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah, I
are
got
pretty
you.
though.
Yeah, they are pretty.
So they're fun.
And you have to be like.
And then in that
really
swatch
actual.
book, it shows you
Yeah,
10
we-
minutes, 20 minutes for
Okay,
each
yeah.
color.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
Yeah.
You have to be like Mackenzie.
Okay.
So okay.
Oh my god.
Relights though, like
Yes, please.
like my personal favorite product.
Yeah.
Sorry, which one?
Really like.
1
Relight
to 3 parts, 7 minutes.
One to
No, we should.
shit. 1 to 3.
Everybody know me or what?
Yes.
Okay, so it's gonna give you, let me make sure I go over my list.
Yeah, get that list.
UV protectant. It helps with detangling. What? It's. I never know.
You should do one.
Well, detangling, manageability. It's kind of like when you've got your manicure and they seal it with a clear coat. It's
That's
gonna
what I
make
always
your
say.
color last longer. It's gonna seal everything up. The idea behind it is when you're washing your hair, it's going to shampoo out first. When you're in the salt water, it's gonna attack that first. When you're in a pool, it's gonna attack. When you're out in the sun, it's gonna go attack that first. But plus, it has that UV protected. So having that clear coat over top of it before it attacks the hair that you've just worked on.
Did not know about
Like,
that.
I have, I'll say them. I have like 100 questions right now.
Oh my god, no, ask them.
Ask them so we know.
Just ask
Yeah.
Salon.
And it is a 1 to
What's
2
the
ratio mix, normally. The blondes process 5 to 10 minutes. I would say 10. And then reds are like more like 20 minutes, the red tones. Now, the crystal gloss that I do is kind of like an advanced technique that I learned in the class where you mix it 1 to 3. So that's also bringing the pH back together, cuts 5 minutes off the timing. So if you're doing a red, it's only gonna cut 5 minutes off that timing. So instead of doing 15 to 20, you're now doing 10 or 15. When you're doing a blonde, instead of doing the 10 to 15 minutes or 10 minutes, you can do 5.
And that's with the 1 to 3?
And then you don't have to use the service afterwards because it's girdled the hair.
See, that's
You know,
so
it sealed it all up.
Because it's like 1 to 3, it's like, I feel like that's just all developer. I feel like that's so diluted. Obviously, the chemistry behind that's not true, but to me, that's just so weird to think this much color, this much developer. Like, yep, that was enough color for your whole head. I just don't get it.
I still get it.
It's a way to cut that timing down though. Like it cuts the timing down, makes it a quick service to add on in a bowl, and you get all the same benefits from leaving it on for 10 minutes.
This is like a clear coat.
Yeah.
But they have pigments. They
There's,
have.
there's pigments.
There's pigments.
There's
But
pigments.
then there's a clear, yes?
But there's a clear.
Clear.
And clear is probably the most widely used. If you have you have a red head, I would pick a red to seal it up. If you've got like an ash blonde, I'd pick an ash to seal it up.
How much change
Or this
tone does Relights
I think it works.
I don't see anything.
Neither
I'm
do
not
I.
a
That's
fan.
why I'm
You know,
asking, like,
I'm
it's
not-
not.
When
I don't
Abby
see
does
anything.
the
No, it's
formula
not a
sheet.
toner. It is
I
not
guess
a
that's,
toner.
that was one of the things
That's
that
the
came to my head, so it's not a toner.
a supporting for your color.
Perfect,
Okay.
because that's how I view it.
It's help supporting your color. It's not going to correct or
I
tone
don't
a
see any
thing.
difference
Okay,
in the color when it's
so
done.
I'm just gonna
It
ask
smells
this,
terrible.
and if it's,
I love
if
this.
you wanna answer it later, it's fine. But I feel like if I'm gonna choose to use Relights, like, I'm thinking in my head, the ideal guest that I'm gonna add this service onto would be someone who fades quickly. Someone who might have damage, someone who's a tennis player out in the sun, someone who's a beach goer, like fading issues, however, whatever, but not a toner.
Correct.
So an add-on.
Correct.
And relights would be best for redheads.
I've seen it
Mainly?
in red.
I mean, it would be great for a redhead because redheads
They
fade
fade the
fast.
fastest.
It does give.
And
color
it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, honey.
Can you tone with color touch and then do a relight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing?
No.
So if you
Well,
okay,
Because relights.
If you
is-
Relight
tone-
is not a toner.
All right, so you're
it's
doing
just
it-
a supporter of
Clear
the
coat
color.
tone
The
out.
toner would
Yeah.
have
That's what
the
it is.
clear coat in it too, right?
if you tone.
Protective
All right, what's the difference if you toned with color touch, then use service or seal and shine or like a sealant afterwards? Then if you toned with color touch and then used relights.
Because the relights
Same-ish?
will help protect your toner
Okay.
and make your color.
Hold on. You're
Oh,
you're doing your color. You're toning.
So I'm blonde, I'm going like an ash blonde, right? And I don't want it to fit. So I'm gonna do her highlights, then I tone with color touch. Alright? Then I'm gonna either use like a sealant, like the seal and shine to after I'm done rinsing her toner out, or the service to close that cuticle up. Beautiful guess, she's leaving.
Right.
Okay, next as I do the same thing, except instead of using the service or the seal and shine, I use a clear relights.
Same job.
Same job.
Same job.
Bigger upcharge.
but you're upcharged.
But then, wait,
There we go.
but
So once-
Bitches
also,
getting relights.
but then, wouldn't the relights, if you do tone and then do relights, wouldn't that protect their toner from the
Correct.
sun and everything more
Correct.
too?
It's
So
like
that'll
a-
probably
yeah.
make it last.
Look at it, sunscreen.
It's like an
So
added
the
little.
toner wouldn't be like the clear coat either.
No.
Okay, you wanna put that, you got that 2 layer of the polish, okay, you got that 1 layer's color, the second layer's toner, and then you put relights, it's the
Boom.
Yeah.
clear. Clear. Alright,
Got
that's
it.
good.
Oh my god, I need a
I'm
manicure.
sold on relights, so any day I'll
Okay.
get I love it.
We got one.
It works.
So
Maybe I'll do that
Where
tonight.
my hair is.
thinking a little bit larger than that as an
There's
add-on,
a lot of them.
just to put it out there, not necessarily color choice, but service would be like stopping the.
Yeah, service just stops the color process and seals up the cuticle.
So I'm a guest who doesn't
So-
want to pay more. I'm a service guest.
Then that's your prerogative.
But it is an add-on charge as well.
For relights?
First,
Yes.
Keeping that.
Yes. I always ask them, this is the benefits of it. It's an extra $20. Do you want me to do that to you today? Sometimes I'm like, here, let me give this to you complimentary today. Tell me how you liked it.
yeah, I'll come back to you.
Could you use it on top of like pastels, like joy color stuff?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like color last one?
I don't see why not.
What was the question?
To use it on top of,
Like joy color?
Oh, use it on top of another color
I don't see
line?
why not, because it's really just an acid closing it up. It shouldn't be pulling anything out.
Oh, interesting.
Why
Might
not?
have to do it later.
That'd be a good test.
Yeah, it would be a great test.
Because I was gonna say, is it gonna lift the toner?
Now, I've played with that with the Color Fresh semi in a class, as my partner had like this bright blue hair from the creative line, and so we went over it with just with one of those semi things, and it was fine. Using cold water and,
Mm-hmm.
So Brenda, if we're getting technical with relights, let's say like I use Color Touch. That's the color I use. I notice it fades after like 20 shampoos. It starts to go back to my color. So if I did a relights, because I've never done that before, would it last 30 shampoos?
probably, or longer.
Okay.
Because the
Oh.
relights technically it lasts in the hair for, I like to say about 3 weeks. I
Oh.
tell my clients 3 weeks. They say 24 shampoos,
Mm-hmm.
but I tell them it's not gonna last forever. I'm honest about it. I usually tell people it's gonna last less
Mhm.
because you definitely want to under-promise, over-deliver in everything you do.
So,
that's why
3 weeks,
you
so
do
that's
relights
actually a
on
really
every
wise
client.
investment for your guests if they're going to get a 3-week bump out of their luster of their color, like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can basically say by the time you come back.
Yeah, by the time you come
Yeah.
back.
Okay, I have a question. So you can use it with dark colors too? Because I was
Yes.
always under the impression it was like a bronze and light
No,
color only
no.
thing.
No.
Okay.
Because of the like 8.6 and stuff, the way
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah, I've only
Just to help kind of put in your head the difference between, since we've talked about all the color lines, in a semi-permanent color, where are the color dyes going to rest? This is my cuticle.
Semi, all on the outside.
All on the
So,
cuticle.
yeah, they're all gonna be like out here. Right?
This is what I know.
Okay, let's do demi. Where are the demis gonna rest?
In the cuticle.
and outside.
You know, so yeah, well, everything's gonna be.
They're gonna be on the outside of the cuticle, right? But they also go into just this little inner layer.
Yep.
Okay. Now, a permanent hair color. Where are the
Inside the cortex.
Yeah, they're gonna do it right in here, and they're gonna fill it up with whatever color you've done. They're gonna fill it up and actually change it, right?
Yep.
We got that all filled in there. And then lightener. Why haven't I talked about lightener yet? I'm so unorganized. But what does lightener do? Perfectly good.
Goes in and eats those eumelanin and pheomelanin.
Yeah, we're like this little Pac-Man that just eats. Just comes in and eats up all of the pigment. Okay, so we have a couple different lighteners. Blondor is our basic lightener, that big thing. Bonding, multi-bonding powder or something. But that's how, like, a lot of my notes it's put in as. So mixing ratios.
What's 1.5?
2.
All right, you can go 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3.
Whoa.
Now, which one is going to work faster?
43.
No,
No, 1 to 1 because it has the
Well,
most
1 to 1 powder, that's really thick.
What is
Okay.
BB?
Blondor
1 to
multi-bonding
1
powder.
works faster, and this is slower. Want to know why?
Because you
Because
tend to
thicker
do
is quicker.
thicker is quicker.
That's why when you do balayage,
that's
I love
thicker,
the 1 to 1.
You hit single out.
This one out on its own, you know,
Just-
starts
I
bubbling.
I like to do this one. This is the one I use. It's 1 to 2.
Yeah.
For like my, like this everyday kind of what I'm doing, 1 to 2.
But I, like, just because you like a consistency, if you need more, like, I like that you can
You
know
have-
why.
Yeah, you have options.
And so, yes, I like 1 to 2, or I like 1 to 3, or whatever that is, but this guess, I need the most lift, the quickest lift, I need to go to the thicker option,
Correct.
possibly. So not getting stuck in, I only use 1 to 2. I love
But
that.
typically for my foiling, that's where I go because I've got my timing figured out.
Yeah, but I love that
But you have
why. I love the why. Thank you.
options.
No, I feel like if you're like free painting, like without foiling, if you're just, yeah, like balayaging, but just like freehanding it, not foiling it, just, I feel like 1 to 1 is the best ratio because it's thicker, so it doesn't bleed, right?
There you go.
So
And
it
then
just
you
sits.
At the same time,
You have free lights also.
Stay where you.
if it's super thick, it's not gonna blend, it's gonna chunk up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're just doing free,
Nah.
like original
That's the best
balayage,
way.
like
Have you guys played
fashion
free lights?
balayage.
When it's too
I love free lights. I use free lights on a lot of
Free lights
people.
very forgiving.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 'Cause this
Light.
light
It
leaves a
forms
soft
this
line.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Yeah.
like that. It forms this soft little cocoon, and on the inside, it's all wet and gooey. It's still working.
Oh, it's like a toll house
I like it.
It just,
cookie.
it's really cool.
Like a
Toll House cookie?
Yeah,
If I
it's
want
good.
like a brighter balayage.
And then we also have the Blondor Cream,
Yeah, no.
which has that little
Very like a-
buffer of
very
oil
yellow.
in there. So it's a lot gentler.
Really, very yellowy.
I think like fine hair works a little slower.
What?
Gives you the same results though? 'Cause I
Yeah,
was trying to-
actually, if you mix up Blondor with 40 volume and Blondor with 1.9, stick them on a swatch and sit them over in the corner, in an hour they're going to be the same.
One just
Cover up,
works
leave it in
slower.
that foil, you mean?
Yeah, just stick it over in a corner, let it do its thing. In an hour, you're going to have the same. Just feel the hair and what its texture is. 40 just works fast
So Blondor.
and then fizzles out. So it's going to, but if you use the 1.9, it works, but it's just going to keep working. It's got its pace and it's going to work and it's going to work.
Okay. And Blondor cream is, it'll give you the same result as Blondor powder?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just works slower and it's got that extra conditioning factor in there with the
So better for on the
Oil.
scalp or something.
on the scalp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have the extra cool blonde. Do you guys stock extra cool?
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Everybody? It has those little
Sorry.
extra purpley blue pigments in there for when you're lightening, like if you've got really dark hair and you want that extra, it's got those pigments in there. Those pigments basically wash out after a while.
Is it like the blonde
Well,
or
It's
the
not
toning
like they hang
stuff?
out.
No, it's no,
What do
not
you mean?
magma. It's
They
like a
eventually
smaller
wash away.
bottle,
You need to seal it with
and
blonde
it's
or
just
sealing
blue.
hair,
Yeah.
or they're going to be
Blue
dark
powder.
powder.
Yeah.
To tone it kind of in a way.
Really?
Wait. What did you just say? I missed it.
You use the blue powder, you have to use the sealant, or those blue pigments are gonna wash away and you're just gonna have super orange hair.
Okay, what are you talking about?
Lisa
The
loves
Blondor multi-powder extra cool.
We don't run that over there.
Okay, so there's this extra cool version that has like extra little blue pigments in it. It even mixes up at like a different color.
Kind of like magma.
So it's
Looks a little
Oh,
bit.
I kind
It's
of
its
have
own
a question
thing.
about
and
this.
it's bleach?
It's a lightener.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And yes.
Okay, so in my opinion, the blue powder is like, I don't know how to explain this. Like when I was doing Brenda's hair, because she wanted to go platinum, I was using the normal, because her hair was so light already, and Lisa was like, why don't you use the blue one? And I was like, well, if she has all this yellow in her hair and I use the blue powder, isn't it gonna make it green?
It's a good thought.
So like, shouldn't that mostly be used for people like with darker hair that are gonna lift to an orange level, not somebody whose hair is like already my level?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what it's made for.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
No, you were right.
Cause I was like,
Because
Lisa.
how else? Like that.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Like, I just,
And then,
I don't want to pick your brain for taste.
Does anybody, mind blowing, Blondor is not made to work with like heat.
Wait.
Just so manufacturer's directions say no heat. No, everybody uses heat.
Yeah.
I add a Climazon.
Yeah.
It just gets those molecules moving, but technically all it needs is oxygen to work. You don't have to add heat to make it work. It will
Can
work
you add
without.
oxygen? I just mean like, can you pull your foils if you need an extra little
Yeah, why
kick at
not?
the end?
Absolutely.
That's a
Open
real
them up,
thing.
let some oxygen
I
in.
thought you meant like an
It would be
oxygen
great to
tank.
steal all the oxygen out of your foil when you but
Yeah.
We do the tank.
Blowing
Well,
it.
it's like you're not supposed to totally fold up your foils, right? You're supposed
Correct.
to leave one side open.
You're supposed to
Or
leave
both.
little air in there because that's how it works, is with oxygen. I mean, it still works, it's just harder to work.
Yeah.
I know, because everyone wants to do tight foils.
Well, because our
It's just
side
move a
is
lot.
cleaner.
Any
What you doing?
any more questions on like the Blondor part? Multi-powder cream, extra cool?
Can you mix the like cream with the powder? Like I know it seems dumb, but like one time I tried to mix the blue with cream for whatever reason. Like don't even ask, I don't know. But it just didn't mix that well. Like can you not do that?
Why do you want to mix them together?
Because Lisa told me to, honestly. I had not worked here that long. Lisa was like, yeah, she adds the blue into like everything.
Oh, the extra cool blue?
Yeah,
into-
yeah.
Yes.
To cream.
Yes.
Would that be okay?
I've never mixed it with the cream, but yeah, I mean, that's made to add in.
Do like
Okay.
the oil-based
Okay.
lightener, the cream
Standalone.
lightener?
Okay, cool.
But in order to have the full benefit of those pigments in the extra cool, you need to use Blonde and Seal and Care after. Or their next shampoo, everything you
gone.
just put in is gone.
And they're gonna be so
Sealant,
orange.
what's sealant care?
It's
We don't,
Either
you
that
don't
or
use
you
it
need
at
to
the
lift them
village.
lighter,
I don't
and
use
you're
anything
just
for
putting
the
that extra cool
You don't
in
use
for
it at
your
the
eyes.
village.
I
You
mean,
should
we
get
do
some, you might
that
have
too. We
some
do
though in
things
the
because we
cabinet.
like the way it looks. Why not? Like, we're visual people.
Yeah.
So if you want to add that extra cool in because it's easier for your eyes to see, why not?
okay.
I'm like, they're your tools.
Okay.
I'm just, like,
Cool.
Providing it.
if you want the benefit of the extra cool pigments, if you don't care and you're just using it for a different reason, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't know the reason you're using it, you're just using it. It's fine.
Out of Blondor.
Magma? We ready to move on to magma?
Heck yeah.
Okay. So, magma is kind of cool. It's another great little tool to have in your little toolbox. It's a lightener, but it kind of thinks it's a color. But I would never think of it as being a color, that I'm going to get a tone that I want from just using magma. I would always think I'm going to use this as a tool to achieve something that I want to go to. Somebody wants to be pink. I would highlight with that stroke 6.5 so that I have all these supporting pink pigments left in there, but you still got to lighten. You want to create something with that has like a yellow base, use the limoncello. You want to create something that has a cooler base, use something else to you know, there's tons of options you can choose from. Someone wants to be a bright, bright redhead. You could put in these stroke 4/4 pieces, and you have all these trace pigments left behind in the hair that you can tone or enhance or whatever with, but you have these pieces that are already going to be the color you're heading towards, because it is just a lightener. It's not made to be like the final result. Or maybe you have a blonde and you want that to be the final result, and you don't want to use a 12 level, you decided to use magma. So you have those little trace pigments left in there. But it's not going to be a color, it is a lightener.
Oh, so you shouldn't, because like I
So
did
it
a
just
balayage
leaves
with it.
behind like the stain. It's not like,
Will it
it's still a raw color. I feel like you still need to tone it.
fade? The tone of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll, like a faded out pink or a faded
No.
out red is what it'll look like eventually?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It will
Okay.
still
It'll
fade.
fade out, but
Because I used it
has,
for the
like-
first time the other day and it worked quick. Like it got to like what she has. Like I did a
Wow.
balayage with it with the stroke 6.5 and 4.4.
like,
I mean, in like
and it,
10
think
minutes.
of it like a lightener, because if you use 40 volume in a lightener, how light are you going to get real quick? You're using 20 volume in a lightener, how light are you going to get real quick? So I just think that it's thought of too much as being a color sometimes, when it's really part of the lightener. It's part of the blondoir house. Like it's
The House of Blondoir.
the house of blondoir.
So fancy.
Oh yeah, and it's not meant to be on the scalp.